Let's talk about the new tax law for 2026. Before now, short-term investments, some of them do attract 10% withholding tax, while some doesn't. I remember going to the bank to fix a certain amount, and when the document came out, I saw that they are to charge me 10% from the interest that will be paid. And I questioned it. As an accountant, having been exposed to tax issues, I questioned it. If I'm to pay withholding tax, it should be 5% as an individual. So why are you charging me 10% withholding tax on my investment? And they said all they could tell me is that is the rule. I couldn't get good explanation. And one thing I know about withholding tax is that corporate bodies pay 10% withholding tax to the federal government, while individuals pay 5%. And I am an individual that invested through you. So why are you charging me 10%? They were not able to explain it, because their own is just to follow instruction. I have already known what is going on. The banks are supposed to remit the 10% on my behalf, because they are supposed to pay 10%. And out of anger, I terminated the investment. Then I moved the investment to Treasury bill, because as at then, there was no withholding tax on the interest. But you know what happened? After 2 months, I got an email from this said bank explaining to me, telling me that my investment will be charged with 10% withholding tax. So what am I trying to say? That the new tax law that's going to take effect from January 2026 does not have mercy on short-term investments anymore. So as you are going into any short-term investment, bear it in mind that whatever interest that will be paid to you, you are going to lose 10% of it. For instance, you are going to make, if you have invested, say 10 million naira on fixed deposit of 10%, let me just use 10% because it's above 10%, which is 1 million. At the end of the year, before you collect your money, the bank will deduct 10% at source from the 1 million naira interest that has accrued to your investment. And 10% of 1 million is 100,000. So instead of you going home with 11 million naira, you'll be going home with 10,900,000 naira. That is how far the government have gone these days. I am not trying to discourage you, but I am telling you that you have to make up your mind, because you can't stop investing. The government is collecting from us. We are struggling to make it, and they're collecting from us. Then that will equally tell you that you need to upgrade to a long-term investment to avoid all these charges or taxes by the government. I know that it is not easy to go for long-term at a stretch, but you have to plan towards it to avoid working for the government. You invested and you waited, and at the end of the day, government collected parts. But long-term will give you freedom to go home with whatever you have worked on, whatever you have achieved through your investments.